Welcome to another episode of Out Loud Geek, where we discuss news and views about pop culture, science fiction, fantasy, food, cooking, the outdoors, and more. Patently evil. Apparently, one of the showrunners for Lord of the Rings of Power, J.D. Payne, has decided that anyone who dares to criticize their show is patently evil. Well, I guess that would include me, but guess what? I don't care. He can call me and everyone else who criticizes his show all the names in the book. It won't make any difference because ultimately his show is garbage. It's horribly written, and these two have virtually no experience. They should never have been given the responsibility of writing a show that has over a $700 million budget. Prime Video, Amazon Studios, and the Lord of the Rings of Power showrunners participated in one of the most obvious damage control pieces in the history of media by doubling down on their offensive and vile rhetoric by calling critics of the show patently evil. If you remember in February, Prime Video's hatchet men of Anthony Breznican and Addai-Robinson derided Tolkien fans, describing them as trolls. The two wrote, "When Amazon released photos of its multicultural cast, even without character names or plot details, the studio endured a reflexive attack from trolls. They just can't handle a little criticism, can they? Isn't that just sad and pathetic?" Since then, Prime Video has deployed numerous media tactics to attack Tolkien fans. They used Elijah Wood, Sean Astin, Dominic Monaghan, and Billy Boyd as props to denounce fans criticizing the show. Wood posed with Monaghan and Boyd wearing shirts with a number of different types of ears and the phrase, "You are all welcome here" in Tolkien's Elvish. Most notably, the official Twitter account for the Rings of Power issued a statement accusing fans of racism using the same "You are all welcome here" slogan. There have been numerous other stunts employed accusing the fans of being racist. None of it anywhere near the truth. And most of it is a deflection from the poor product that Prime Video was advertising and has thus far delivered. Yes, that's exactly why Amazon is attacking fans. Because they know their show is crap, they know it's badly written, and since they don't have any other way to defend it, they just attack the credibility of anyone who dares to criticize it. A product that is far from anything Tolkien wrote about the Second Age in the Silmarillion, Unfinished Tales, and the History of Middle-earth. Not to mention, the showrunners also admitted they did not have legal rights to use those books. No, so they're just making everything up, and that's why it's just pure shit. Now, showrunner J.D. Payne has taken the attacks on fans to the next level. In this article from The Hollywood Reporter, Payne tells them, "The spirit of Tolkien is about disparate peoples who don't trust one another and look different from one another, finding common ground in friendship and accomplishing big things." He adds, "That's the spirit we've tried to inculcate into every single comma and period in the show. That this aspiration would be offensive to people and enrage them, it's very hard for us to understand." No, it's offensive to people because it's a bastardization of what Tolkien created. What the showrunners are writing for the Rings of Power is coming from their own heads. It is not anything that Tolkien wrote. It is purely the work of J.D. Payne and Patrick McKay. It has very little to do with J.R.R. Tolkien except in name and borrowing some of his characters and places. Beyond that, it's just their garbage. That's really all it is. What are they protecting? I don't see how people who are saying these things think that they're fighting for good. Tolkien fans are trying to protect the legacy and integrity of what J.R.R. Tolkien created. That's what they don't see as good? Obviously not. They don't think that what Tolkien actually wrote is good. They only want to deal with what they're writing because that to them is the ultimate thing. There's a line in episode 7 where Galadriel says every war is fought from without and within. Even if you're fighting for something you think is good, if you do something worse in that fight, then you become evil. I don't see how people who are saying these things think that they're fighting for good. It's patently evil. Well, no. What people are unhappy about is the fact that the showrunners have completely bastardized what J.R.R. Tolkien created. And they don't want to see it. They aren't interested. At every turn, how they have tried to promote the show is to talk about, its inclusivity and everything else. In other words, this is a show about modern day politics. It's not about trying to present what Tolkien actually wrote. This is why their show, The Rings of Power, is utter garbage. First off, Payne's assertion is a patent lie that he sugarcoats with his own fake platitudes in order to justify the horrific product he has created. One only needs to look at how the first episode ends and Galadriel's rejection of the equivalent of heaven to realize the evil that lies underneath, the Lord of the Rings of Power. Not only does she reject heaven, but a memory from her now dead brother telling her we cannot know which lights to follow until we have touched the darkness implies the heaven she rejects is actually evil. It's repulsive. The whole show is repulsive. How anyone actually can watch it is a mystery to me. Payne's own director also admits the show does not embrace the idea of friendship. Wayne Chi Yip detailed that a scene in episode 5, Partings, specifically tried to show that Galadriel was entrapping and manipulating Halbrand to do her bidding. Gee, that sounds like friendship, doesn't it? No, that just sounds like bullshit. He explained what Aaron, my cinematographer, and I wanted to do was create this sense of entrapment. The scene starts with Galadriel finding Halbrand at the end of a day in the blacksmith's, and she feels she has the upper hand because of information that she's found out about the mark the Halbrand wears around his neck. This is surely the spirit of Tolkien that Payne is talking about, right? So much friendship. Again, Payne is a liar. So this whole thing is just a rancid joke. The Rings of Power is terrible. It's horribly written. I've talked about that in one of my more recent videos. Even if we imagine that Payne isn't lying, he then tries to paint himself as the victim, as all Hollywood types are now inclined to do, especially when their blatant lies are called out for what they are. Yes, this is what Hollywood is today. Oh, you're so mean to us. He's the one who's being oppressed by the people, rightfully calling him out. And he took a butcher's axe to Tolkien's Legendarium, emptied the guts, then filled it with cheap plastic from China, and then proceeded to sell the now rotting and plastic-filled corpse as the real Legendarium. People are protecting Tolkien's true work. The answer is pretty obvious. As an example, that's why critics, including this writer, routinely criticize the depiction of Galadriel as everything contrary to how Tolkien not only wrote her, but how he wrote about her in his numerous letters. Because they don't care. They want to present her in their own bastardized form, the strong woman Galadriel, who is just another Mary Sue. Because Hollywood today really loves its Mary Sues, who are just so perfect. The most vile thing that Payne does is he tries to turn Tolkien's own writings against Tolkien's defenders, and then proceed to call the defenders patently evil. What critics of The Lord of the Rings are doing is not evil. Wanting this adaptation to be true to Tolkien's original works is not wrong. What is evil is painting people who want an honest and true adaptation as patently evil. As the Catechism of the Catholic Church says, truth or truthfulness is the virtue which consists in showing oneself true in deeds and truthful in words, and in guarding against duplicity, dissimulation, and hypocrisy. Payne has not shown himself true to his deeds or his words. He dissimulates every chance he gets and is clearly being duplicitous in his attack on Tolkien fans. It's really sad that this is the sort of thing that these people will do, but it's hardly surprising. This is the reality of The Lord of the Rings of Power. It is a complete bastardization. Everybody knows it. And J.D. Payne and Patrick McKay, they feel that they have to do whatever they can to defend it, including attacking the fans. And now J.D. Payne thinks we're all patently evil. Well, good for him, because it doesn't change the fact that his show is pure garbage. Thanks for watching today, and a huge thanks to everyone who has subscribed to our channel. We appreciate your support. If you enjoyed this video, please press the like button, and please feel free to share a comment. If you'd like to see more of our videos in the future and help support this channel, please press the red subscribe button, and please press the bell to receive notifications for new content. You can also find us on Facebook and Twitter by clicking on the links in the description. Until next time, this is Out Loud Geek.